You know, you're using one right now. Actually, you're probably using a few of them at the same time. I'm talking about the invisible threads that literally connect our entire modern world, from the phone in your hand to massive global data centers. We're talking about computer networks, and today, we're going to make them visible.
But let's pause for a second. Think about it. You clicked a link and poof, here you are watching this. Your phone is probably buzzing nearby, maybe you've got a smart speaker in the corner, and they're all part of this silent conversation that's happening at, well, pretty much the speed of light. But how? What is this web that powers our lives? Well, let's find out.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this by starting small and then thinking really, really big. First up, we'll look at the basic building blocks. Then we'll do this kind of spatial zoom out. Starting with the network right there in your home, then expanding out to cities, then the entire globe, and finally, we'll look at what this incredible thing actually lets us do.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can even begin to understand the massive planet-spanning internet, we have to start with the absolute fundamentals. And it turns out that every single network, I don't care how big or small, is built from the same four essential ingredients. The easiest way to think about this is like sending a good old-fashioned letter. First, you need a sender and a receiver. In the digital world, those are the devices like your laptop and a web server. Then, the letter has to travel through something, right? The postal service, that's our medium, which could be a copper cable or a Wi-Fi signal. The letter itself, well, that's the message, the actual data. And this is absolutely crucial, you need a correctly formatted address and a stamp. Those are the rules or protocols that make sure the message actually gets to the right place. Every single thing you do online is just a super high-speed version of this exact process.
So now, when you see a formal definition like this, it's not so intimidating, is it? A computer network is just a collection of those devices connected by some kind of transmission medium, whether that's a physical cable or just the air around us, and they're all working together by following a shared set of rules. Simple as that.
Okay, with the fundamentals down, let's begin that zoom out we talked about, and we're going to start in the most familiar place possible, the network you're probably on right this second. We're talking about your local area network, or as you probably know it, a LAN.
A LAN is exactly what it sounds like. It's local. It's the network that ties all the devices in your house together through your Wi-Fi router. It's the network in your school's computer lab or the one connecting all the computers and printers in an office building. This is networking on a really personal scale. So what really makes a LAN a LAN? Well, it's that small, private scope. Because it's owned and controlled by you or your school or your company, you get two huge advantages: security and, oh yeah, speed. Just think about it. If you transfer a huge file between two computers on your home Wi-Fi, it's almost always way faster than downloading something from the internet. Why? Because you own the whole pathway. There's no traffic. Okay, great. So we've got all these powerful little local networks. But right now, they're just islands. The real magic happens when we start building bridges between them. This is where we zoom out from a single building to connect entire cities and, you guessed it, eventually the entire world.
The very first bridge we build creates something called a metropolitan area network, or a MAN. This is what you get when you start linking a bunch of different LANs all across a city. A perfect example is a big university that has campuses dotted around town. They use a MAN to connect all of them, so it feels like one giant cohesive network. It's really the bridge between local and global.
And now for the final zoom out, the Wide Area Network, or WAN. A WAN is a massive collection of LANs that are spread across a huge geographical area. We're talking an entire country, a continent, or even the whole planet. And the biggest, most famous, most important WAN in existence? Yeah, it's the internet. And there you have it, all laid out. It's a pretty simple hierarchy of scale, right? You start with the LAN in a single building, you connect them across a city to make a MAN, and then you connect those across the globe to create the WAN. Each layer just builds on top of the one before it.
So, we've covered the physical scale of networks, but there's another really important way to think about them. Who's allowed in? You see, not every big network is for everybody. And this brings us to the big difference between public and private networks.
First up is the one we all know and love, the internet. The key word here is public. It's the global digital town square, this beautiful chaotic mesh of interconnected networks where, in theory, anyone can connect with anyone else from anywhere on Earth. But not every network is a free-for-all. An internet is basically the complete opposite of the public internet. It's a private, walled-off garden, a network just for a single company used for internal files and company memos. Then you've got something in the middle, an extranet.
This is like a secret handshake between two companies. They connect their private internets to share information just between themselves, but it's still totally hidden from the rest of us on the public internet.
Okay, we've gone through the components, the different scales, and the types of networks. But let's bring this all back home. Why does any of this technical stuff actually matter? Well, it matters because it enables literally everything we do in our modern digital lives.
You see, this vast infrastructure of cables and signals isn't just tech for tech's sake. It's a platform for everything. It's what delivers our email, it's what lets us stream our favorite shows, play games with friends on the other side of the planet, and tap into the entire library of human knowledge on a whim. All of these things are just services running on top of that global WAN we call the internet.
And maybe the most powerful, game-changing service of all is cloud computing. This is the wild idea that your personal device, your laptop, your phone, doesn't need to be all that powerful anymore. The network itself, the cloud, can deliver everything you need. Your storage, incredible processing power, and all the software you use, accessible from anywhere. In essence, the network has become the computer.
So there we have it. We've journeyed from 4 simple building blocks all the way to a planet-spanning network that delivers almost unimaginable power right to our fingertips. We've connected billions of people into a single global conversation, and that is truly one of humanity's greatest achievements. Which leaves us with one final and pretty thrilling question. What on earth are we going to build with it next?